Hi QA folks, in this video let's talk about test automation methodologies, or at least some of the commonly used. First one is data-driven test automation. It's when test scripts are executed based on input data that is stored separately from test scripts. And with these methodologies, variables are used for both input parameters and expected results. So this is an example with Java and data provider. In this case, data provider who provides both input values to click on and expected results, which URL to expect. It's stored within the same class as the test itself, but it can be stored in external Excel file, database, or whatever. But anyway, this is the representation of data-driven automation. So what do we have here? Here we have two-dimensional array of values. First value is input parameter linked to click on. Second is expected URL, as I explained. And the test itself, it accepts data provider as an entry parameter for the test, and then it repeats this test for the same entry in data provider. But basically it's the same code that uses input values and output expected results as the variables inside. So it allows you to loop or repeat this test for the same as many times as you have entries in your data provider. Now, the second approach or methodology is keyword-based automation. It's usually what people refer to when they say BDD and Gherkin-based language annotations like Cucumber library in Java, SpecFlow in .NET. But anyway, in this approach, tests look like not a programming code, but a description of the sequence of actions with the parameters. For example, sign in as a user with login and password, with login X and password Y. In this case, the framework is responsible for the direct implementation of keywords, actions, and the test writer needs to have an idea about the entire set of actions implemented in the framework and available for him to be used. This makes it possible to create tests by people or to write tests by people who do not have any programming skills. And usually it looks like this spec file where you have feature name and scenario in, let's say, human readable way, name of the scenario, and then you have given one then annotations. So basically this is the keywords. This one, the first line of the first keyword basically will log you out if you are signed in. And the next one takes entry parameters user and password and will sign you in. And the third one will check that you will receive expected pop-up message. And here below you have section of examples. Basically, the same scenario will be repeated as many times as as many entries you have in this example section. But personally speaking, this keyword-based, in most cases I just use data-driven automation. Why? Because with this keyword-based, the idea is always that you can give the ability to write tests to, for example, business analysts or tech writers or even to product owner, and it adds additional layer to maintain on the top of your test automation framework. And usually it doesn't help because it doesn't work, because people who are supposed to write tests, like business analysts or product owners, they do not write them. And you will end up with maintaining additional layer in your test automation framework which nobody is using, and sometimes it doesn't give you enough flexibility because you will have to implement these strictly defined keywords or phrases if you wish. And the third one is record and playback, the third methodology. Or no-code test automation. You can use tools like Test Complete, Tosca, or Testim for that, and many others. I believe many of the other tools on the market have this capability. But the thing is that with record and playback, basically you will do some actions on the screen, hit the record button, do some actions on the screen, and then you can replay all your actions. But the problem is that usually it's not reliable. It either relies on the pointer coordinates on the screen when you do some clicks and actions, or it can also rely on the screenshots or something. But again, it's not reliable. Usually it requires a lot of maintenance, at least from when I work with tools like that, and it basically it requires a lot of time to maintain them and update. So it wasn't stable in my case, so usually I prefer not to use this methodology. Again, these are three commonly used. I would advise you to use data-driven as the most flexible one, but yeah, it should give you the idea of methodologies that can be used. That's it for this video. See you in the next one.